following is a special report from Los Angeles.
And take two.
Welcome back, Kings fans. You're watching the Royal Half Radio Postgame Show with your host, Jesse Cohen.
Connolly must score or the Kings will win the game. A right shot. And Connolly 1 of 5 this year. Picks up the puck. Moves in the zone. Connolly in on Quick. Deeks. And a save is made by Quick. He didn't know he made the save. And the Kings win the shootout and win the game.
Happy birthday, Jonathan Quick. A big save there for the Kings. Connolly does a nice job moving the puck. Tries to tuck it in on the backhand. Quick and committed to the other side. He throws his legs back.
I'm not right. There we go. So I cheated a little bit there. That audio you heard is not from January 20th. It's from January 21st. But I believe that's Jonathan Quick's birthday. So I wanted to get that in there. It's not this date in Kings history. It's tomorrow's date in Kings history. But Jonathan Quick was in net tonight for the New York Rangers. And Jonathan Quick's birthday is January 21st. So that's tomorrow's date in history. Sorry, I'm talking so loud because the Frank Sinatra song is ending. I was going to wait till it was finished, but they hadn't even started it yet. Now this is happening. Anyway, woohoo, the Kings win. I hope you guys can all hear me. I see all the commenters going. I appreciate it when you guys are going before I even get in here. Man, they sure did make it close there, though, at the end. I was talking to John Hoven as the final minutes were ticking off the clock, and I said, this cannot happen, right? They cannot let it tie up in the final 30 seconds, but they didn't. They held on. They got the win. So they did the thing. They get their 2 points, and there you go, Max. It's the 21st in New Zealand, I believe, is where Max is from. So there we go. All right, finally that song is over, which means I can go to Steve from Orlando because now I can hear what's going on. Steve from Orlando.
Oh, this up and down season.
Yeah, it's definitely been that. Yeah,
I was like, they're gonna lose. They're gonna blow it. They're gonna blow it. I know they're gonna blow it.
They didn't.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. They held on for the win against a team that has had its doors absolutely blown off in like 5 of their last 6 games.
Yeah. So of course, I thought for sure they're gonna finally win tonight.
Sure. I mean, look, no Doughty, and then Kemper goes out in the first period. I was tugging my collar, but then they got that early goal in the second and never really looked back.
I mean, honestly, they looked really good tonight. I mean, this team though. One game they look great. The next game they look like AHL. I don't even understand the season. Like you said, it's bizarro. I don't know. I don't know how to have any hope anymore.
Well, I mean, listen. The only option we have on a night like tonight is to just take the win and move on. Right? I'm not gonna read too much into it. There's no point. We've all been burned too much by trying to believe. Oh, this is Jim Hiller had that comment after the Minnesota game. This is the game that turns us around. This is not the game that's going to turn them around. I mean, maybe it will be. I don't know. But, it's one game against a subpar opponent that's already started to call it quits on the year. So, I mean, but good. But they won. Jonathan Quick did not get a huge dominant win, which, listen, we all love Jonathan Quick, but it would have hurt my feelings tremendously if Jonathan Quick had come in here and gotten a shutout or something. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I heard you got to feel the, my pain of watching the games on the East Coast.
Yeah, I don't understand why you guys do it. Yeah, I tried to watch. I mean, I watched the first game with my dad, and went to overtime. And it was the first game that they lost in the shootout. I don't even remember, and that was brutal. And then the second game, at least I was in my hotel room. I could just go to bed as soon as it was over. But yeah, I don't know. Just go to bed, Steve. What are you doing talking to me?
Yeah, I work nights, so I don't have to wake up early. So
insanity.
Yeah.
Ashley says, "Woohoo, Kings win, but let's find something to complain about." Don't you worry, Ashley. I will find something to complain about eventually. But for right now, Steve, just happy that they got the win, and early happy birthday to Jonathan Quick. But you don't get 2 points. You don't get 2 points from us as a birthday present.
Thanks. I love that. So hopefully we can get maybe 2 or 3 in a row. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, they're going on the road where they've been better than they have at home. So
yep,
we'll find out. And there's looks like a bunch of people on the ice, so I'll be hearing them hoot and holler. So I might. Anyway, Steve, thanks for calling. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Be well out there in Orlando. That was Steve from Orlando. All right, just going through some comments real quick here. 6 and 92, 96% expected goals, 4%, 45, 44 and 5. Clark needs. Oh no, okay. So this is getting straight into what I did want to complain about. For most of the game, Brant Clark was leading the Kings in time on ice. And then at some point, very near the end, Hoven taps me on the shoulder and says, "It's Cody Ceci." And I was stunned because I had been tracking it all through the third period, and it was Brant Clark for most of the game. As it turns out, it was Cody Ceci. He played 23 minutes and 26 seconds. Mikey Anderson played 22:39. Joel Edmondson played 21:14. Brant Clark played 20 minutes and 45 seconds, so he was fourth on the team. But he was a +3. I mean, he was so very clearly the best defenseman on the team through most of the game. Easily through halfway through the third period, once they had built that 4-2 lead, it was Brant Clark. And then I guess at the end to lock it down, they went with other guys. I don't even know who was on the ice for that third goal that New York scored, but it wasn't Brant Clark. So just goes to show you. And also, I would say another thing, this was a game where that fourth line must have played more minutes than usual, right? I'm looking at it real quick here. Hellenius played 9:39, Ward played 9 minutes, and Malott played 5:47. The only reason I bring it up is because Jim Hiller had previously said Hellenius won't be playing a lot of time at center. This is back when the team was healthy and they had traded Deneau, and he was talking about what he foresaw as being the future of the team. And he was saying, yeah, we won't be playing our fourth line center very much. Well, then a bunch of guys got hurt, and it turns out they have to play a full lineup. And lo and behold, once again, when you actually lean on the young kids, and I'm saying young kids, but like Taylor Ward is not that young, Hellenius is not that young, Brant Clark is not that young. But when you play a full lineup with the guys it's just one more example of like when things don't go the way that they planned on, they almost inevitably go better than how it would have gone had they done with what they did plan to do. So I don't know, whatever. Just reading more comments. Clark looked great tonight. Only complaint would be for him to just, yeah, well, okay, fine. But he was listen, the pass he made on that first goal, 18 seconds into the game, was a great pass, and good for Kempe to know that he was going to do it. I don't know why they won't play Clark shorthanded. I was going to ask Hiller about it this morning, but I did go to morning skate, but I had been gone for a few days. And whenever I come back after having missed a media availability or two, I always feel like I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to repeat any questions that might have been asked. And also, a morning skate is not necessarily the time to do that. But I do plan on asking him that tomorrow. Same thing as Alex Turcotte, because every time I watch, I feel like Turcotte and Clark are universally doing what you would want them to do, are playing really well, and neither one of them gets shorthanded ice time, and neither one of them gets extra, dispensation, whatever. They just sort of get the minutes they get, and that's it. And I don't get it, because I feel like they have been two of the most consistently strong players on the team. But yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just scrolling around for comments. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm perfectly happy that they won this game. It was a good game. It was a fun game. All right, go Kings, go. Hiller, injury 5. Doughty out, so he plays Clark with the lead. And what do you know? Our defense looks good when we don't defend the whole time with the lead. Agreed. Doughty is still good, but Hiller is not. Go Kings, go. I want to call, but I'm out of town for work. Listening my way to sleep. Welcome back, Corey. All right, appreciate that, Corey. Thank you. QB needs to win some faceoffs. 1 for 14. Yeah, that was the sort of story of the game. In the press box, people were pointing out the face-off discrepancy because for the game, I don't know where it is listed, but yeah, face-offs the Kings did not do very well. Laferriere was 8 of 15, Fiala was 1 of 2, Turcotte was 6 of 14, Hellenius was 1 of 4, Armia was 1 of 5, Quentin Byfield was 1 of 15. That's tough, but they won them when it counted. And as I said to the Bannerman on Twitter, the Fiala goal, the Rangers won that faceoff, and then Gavrikov coughed it up right in front of the net. But that's still a faceoff that the Kings didn't win. So the point is, like, how important are faceoffs anyway? I don't know. I think they matter when they matter. But overall, I don't see the value in tracking them as an aggregate stat. Turcotte played well tonight. I agree. Turks is a beast lately. Agree. Laferriere is fine as first-line center. Disagree, personally. Thank you. I really have the same question about Turcotte, especially because his faceoffs are so dominant. Yeah, I mean, listen, you'd want a guy, I don't know, I think anyway. 8 players at morning skate when the team has been struggling is horrible. Yeah, it's not great. I agree, but what can you do about it? And also, it was 7 players, not 8, but whatever. At least that's what I saw. Thoughts on Stoll voicing his disagreements with shooting at the empty net from the O-zone? I agree with him. I didn't hear what he said, so I don't know. I did hear Forsberg say he wasn't trying to score a goalie goal. He was just trying to get the puck out of the zone. I don't buy that for a second. It looked very much like he was going for it. They mentioned Perreault's dad played in the NHL, but didn't mention he was a kid. That must be Gabe Perreault you're talking about. I saw a comment about Dixon Ward up there, but I didn't catch it. Obviously, Dixon Ward is Taylor Ward's dad. He also played for the Kings. Somebody said, I don't remember the last time we didn't see Kopi or Doughty in the lineup, maybe since 2007. I asked Blake where, and we'll get to you in a second, Taylor. Asked Blake where, and he said it's happened 3 times. The last time was, I think, or it was recent. It was 2022. It wasn't as long ago as I would have thought. He said it's only happened 3 times. Let me see if I can find the tweet. Tonight was the first Rangers. Tonight versus the Rangers is the first home game that the Kings have played without Kopitar or Doughty in the lineup since March 17th, 2007. That's home games. But road games, it happened twice in, where the heck is that tweet? I saw it earlier. It happened in 2022 and some other time. Sorry, I can't find it right now. And I don't want to distract myself too much. Yeah, home game on the broadcast, it was 2007. Sorry, Sam said that a minute ago. But yes, Yannick Perreault is Gabe Perreault's dad, and he was a King, and he was really, really good at faceoffs, as it turns out. Might have missed it, but how did D-men time on ice? We did briefly talk about it. Cody Ceci led the way inexplicably. I mean, other than the fact that he killed more penalties than anybody else. And Cody Ceci had 2 minutes, 14 seconds on the penalty kill, led the way for the entire team with 23 minutes, 26 seconds of ice time. And for the record, not that I think this is definitive, but was a -1. Meanwhile, Brant Clark was a +3 and was on the ice for most. He was leading the way for most of the game. And then at some point in the third period, when the Kings decided to fall back and do their thing that never works, that's when Cody Ceci leapt up. And I'm going to look here right now. I'm going to try and figure it out. I'm going to see who was on the ice for that third goal for New York, because I'm willing to bet that it was not. I know it wasn't Brant Clark because he was a +3 all game. All right, so the third goal, 19 minutes, 33 seconds into the third period. JT Miller, Gavrikov from Trocheck. LA Kings on the ice. Yep. Yep. There you go. Cody Ceci, Joel Edmondson, Warren Fogle, Yoel Armia, and Quentin Byfield. So there you go. Meanwhile, Brant Clark on the ice for Kuzmenko's goal, Kempe's goal, and Fiala's goal. So I guess you can't really give him too much credit for Fiala's goal because that was just on a turnover right in front. But you know what? He was out there, so he gets a +1. Anyway, the point is Brant Clark should be getting more minutes. I don't get it. It's crazy, but I don't want to complain too much because they won the game. So woo-hoo, as Jody would say. I think Ward will be in the lineup full-time come playoff / end of season. I'm glad that you amended that to be / end of season. Yeah, I mean, listen, Ward looks good. And I think this team plays better with a full 4th line. I thought they played better last year with a full 4th line. I'm not entirely sure why they didn't play with a full 4th line in the playoffs, but I think we've seen, once again, what's going on, Patrick? Patrick, better with a full 4th line or no? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So there you go. Patrick agrees with me. Yeah, I think Taylor Ward probably would belong there. And Kuzmenko scored off of that nice rebound right out in front of Quick. Think Byfield missed a few face-off lessons. 115 on draws today. Good thing there wasn't a morning skate. Well, I mean, there was a morning skate, and he was out there for the morning skate. It was just an optional one, and they didn't really do that much. But whatevs. It's inexcusable that Clark was 4th in ice time. That's from the 3-2-3. I don't know about inexcusable, but it is a bummer. All right, sorry, Kenta. Taylor, I've had you sitting there waiting. I totally forgot. All right, Taylor, what's going on? Sorry about that. Thank you for waiting.
No problem. Just really liked that they actually had a solid game this time. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a full 60 minutes, but it was a lot better to see.
59.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a push early third. They didn't go to the shell as early.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. I mean, it seems like the Rangers have really fallen off, but I don't remember a time when a team has just whiffed on as many passes and clears out of the zone. Definitely benefited the Kings, but just really strange. I don't know if there were ice issues because I saw some of the Kings players seem like they were having some difficulties falling over and handling the puck as well.
Early in the game, when I think it was 2-1, even at 2-2, I think the first 2 goals against Quick, I was prepared. If the Rangers had won 3-2, let's say, I was prepared to call it a 2-goal shutout for Jonathan Quick, because
Yeah.
that first goal happened so early in the game, and then the second goal was just, it's 100% Gavrikov's fault. I'm not entirely sure what he was
Yeah.
thinking, but yeah, the Rangers, they did not do themselves any favors tonight, and it's not surprising when you look back at their schedule to see that they've been utterly dominated in most of the games they've played recently.
Yeah, feel bad for Quick having to deal with that, but I mean, 2 points is what the Kings needed tonight, so it is what it is. And also, just kind of echo what everyone else is saying. Taylor Ward looked really good. He had that rush in the third period on top of the goal he already had, where kind of single-handedly came down the right side. Again, pushing the play in the third period. Need some guys doing that, and just selfishly, I've seen a Taylor out there doing well.
Yeah, well, Team Taylor, go Team Taylor. Appreciate you joining me tonight, Taylor. Sorry to keep you waiting there for all that time.
No
Appreciate it.
worries.
Thanks for calling in. Kent, I saw you hop on and hop off. If you want to jump back on, now would be the time. We'll go ahead and get you back in there. And I'm seeing a lot of people in the comment section. Sorry, let me add the comments there. Say what I say, which is, look, great that they won, but I'm not going to get too excited about it. This was a bad New York team, and this was a Kings team that we've seen it for a few years now. When pushed into a corner, when their first option is taken away from them, it turns out that they play better when they're sort of forced into a conventional option. So when they have a fourth line full of guys who are hungry, and when when Brandt Clark winds up playing a ton of minutes, it turns out he plays really well. All right, Kenta, what's going on? Sorry to keep you waiting earlier.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think it cuts out every time I join. Oh.
Kenta, are you there? Oh, no. All right. Cut out again. All right. Sorry, Kenta, but I appreciate you trying. Some comments. How amazing was that two-man advantage? PK so proud. Yeah, listen, the building, I was stunned at how loud the building was for that penalty kill. And I have said before, there's no cheering in the press box, and I have no problem not cheering for a goal. I still find myself clapping when the team clears the zone on a penalty kill. And I have said time and time again, I appreciate defense. It's one of the reasons why I have not been objected too harshly to the Kings' philosophical moves over the past few years, because I do believe that you need defense and you need size and all that. I just, enough is enough at some point. But so yeah, when that kill happened, the crowd was loud, and the building was not full. And the building, there were a lot of Rangers fans here tonight. So bravo to the Kings fans that were here tonight. You were not outnumbered by Rangers fans, but it was maybe 60 to 70% Kings fans in the building per seat when you factor in empty seats and then Rangers fans and the rest of them. Kings fans here did a really good job, and I saw somewhere on social media earlier today exactly what I said in the playoffs last year, which is the home crowd obviously wants to get into it. People are coming to these games looking for reasons to cheer, and so when the Kings give them one, they get into it. And so good on the Kings fans, because it was great. I see a lot of comments going back and forth on what happened with Kemper. The email or the comment from PR, I think that was released during the game, said upper body injury. I watched the replay. It looked to me like Brodzinski hit him in the head with his backside. And as somebody pointed out, Darcy Kemper did have concussion issues earlier in the season thanks to that Rantanen hit. So the first thing that I thought was, oh no, what if it's, triggered something about that? But we won't know yet, so who knows? And yes, Caius, the Rangers guy's ass did hit his head. It was Brodzinski. Hit it straight on. I mean, that's what happened. But I wasn't watching the telecast, so I don't know what they said. I am once again a G.I. Joe throwing apples at an amoeba, wondering if this is the one. Sorry, I missed the conversation. I don't understand the reference. But yeah, I mean, fortunately, there's not much to say after this one, because the Kings won. They scored 4 goals. Turns out when you score 4 goals, you're likely to win. They beat a bad team, and that's what they absolutely should have done. Dan says, I thought 79 and 39 should have gotten assists on 52's goal. They worked hard, and I don't think the Rangers D controlled the puck. A shame. Great hard-nosed goal. Yeah, fourth line out there looked great, and not only did they play that, they got that goal, but I think they were out there for the next shift, right, or a shift later. I mean, Hiller went right back to them, which again just begs the question: why not play that line more since they seem to be playing well together? I'm assuming this comment is about Darcy Kemper. I was more concerned with his skate getting jammed against the post and his torso going over the top of his knee. I was thinking a groin or knee injury for Kemper. Yeah, I'm not sure. Other than the fact that PR, I believe, said upper body injury. I'm going to try and find the tweet right now. I didn't get an email, which usually they send an email saying the player won't return. Or maybe I didn't get an email. I don't think I got an email. But we'll just look at, yeah, it said goaltender Darcy Kemper won't return to tonight's game due to an upper body injury. So given that they showed on the replay that Brodzinski did crash into his head, I'm going to assume that that's the cause. I just saw the slow-mo replay. I didn't hear the commentary on it, but that's where we're at. If you want to join like Taylor and Steve from Orlando, you can scan the code in the upper right-hand corner, or you can text in a comment 323-628-1008, 323-628-1008, or leave a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. I see there's a bunch more of you are watching on YouTube now, which I like because it justifies my decision to have that there. I didn't pull any highlights from tonight because I wasn't sure how the game was going to go, and it just sort of slipped my mind. So we're about 12. Oh, here we go. We'll try Kenta again. Kenta, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hey. Oh, sorry. It kept on freezing every time I joined. No. Glad the Kings won. But it's the Rangers. They're kind of bad. They technically have more wins than us, like regulation wins, which is like
well,
sad.
I think almost everybody has more wins than the Kings.
Honestly, going forward, this is just one game against a bad team. There's not much to take in. The last week was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
So just going forward, I would like to see. The biggest thing is like it doesn't necessarily like end with Hiller. Like even if Hiller gets fired, we get a new coach. The philosophies behind like how we deploy our players, I think, is higher than just Jim Hiller. If we do get a coach, like it has to be a coach that's a veteran coach that like is respected and can maybe push back against some of the things that maybe management is forcing on Hiller, since Hiller's a newer coach. I'm sure he doesn't have the bravado.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of it is forcing and how much of it is the reason he got the job is that he agrees with the philosophy, right? Like I've sort of tried to crowbar this analogy in before, but like if you hire somebody who thinks the way you do, you don't have to tell them how to think, if that makes sense. So like
yeah, and like as an organization, like it's good to have like similar opinions, but it's good to also have like different opinions. Like
it is, but the longer somebody is in and the example I always use is news agencies, right? People say CNN has a bias or Fox has a bias or MSNBC has a bias, and I always say like, well, having worked for the Kings, I can say I don't think it's as simple as management tells people down the road what to think. I don't think management talks to the coaching staff or the PR staff or the broadcasters or whatever and tells them what to think. I just think after 10 years of management being in place, they've had an opportunity to replace and hire everybody at every level, and they've hired people that agree with them, that are likely to agree with them by choice, not by fiat. So
yeah, because right now, like there's no. I don't think Luke is going down and going, hey, play this way. Or I think it's more Kings hockey, that culture. So we play defensive first hockey, blah 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 blah, all good stuff back in the early 2010s. But the deployment of our young players, it's interesting to see like who's going to be called up goalie wise. Is
well, hopefully nobody. Hopefully Kemper's fine.
Yeah, no, that's the ultimate goal. But in the case that he is, out, and we do need to bring up, assuming like one game, we might bring up a goalie, like at a minimum here. Like, is it Portillo or is it going to be Copley? And my brain says it's going to be Copley because this management.
Yeah, I would assume it's Copley. Yeah.
But if there's any hope of creating anything for the future. Like even this season, like we had to test out the young guys. Seeing Byfield as a third line center is like the saddest thing ever. And is it okay if I pull up a quote from
Sure.
Marty St. Louis? He said this last week, I think Sunday, about Ivan Demidov. It starts with, you got to be careful not to overcoach these types of players. You have to have some foundations and some non-negotiables. Once they check those boxes, you kind of get out of the way a little bit. Those guys, they coach themselves, they correct themselves. I don't want to take the stick out of their hands. Next thing you know, you go crowd their brains. The elite players now become average because they don't play with anticipation, and they're always asking, what does the coach want to do here? And I really feel like that is what is wrong with how we bring up our players, is that, like, look at, like, Byfield, in case in point. He is told to be a left winger. He is told to be a third line center. He plays, maybe a top 6 center last year for a little bit, like with Fiala, but he got Warren Fogle on his wing that year, and it worked. Fogle had a career year, but then you stick him back into being a third line center, and what's the point?
It's funny. I don't blame Byfield for being the player that he is today, that some people are disappointed with, and I'm not even necessarily disappointed, because I actually think he is effective at whatever role they put him in. I just don't understand why they put him in that role.
No, I think, it's because they want him to be Kopitar, which is obviously, like, he's not Kopitar.
No, he's never going to be.
And the weird thing is, like, I think the Kings organization or the coaches believe that, like, the only first line center is like a 200-foot, solid defense.
But
center.
They're not. So this is why I push back on that. If that were true, they would put him with Kempe and Armia, and that line would play the way a Kopitar, Kempe, and Armia line plays. But they're not. They're putting him with Fogle and Ward, or Fogle and Malott, or whatever. Like, it's a line that couldn't possibly be expected to score unless you expect Quentin Byfield to suddenly become a one-man offensive explosion. And as much as I like Byfield and think that he is capable of generating offense, he has never once shown himself to be a one-man offensive explosion, unless you're going to get super pedantic and point out those rare highlight goals he scores. So, like, you do have to put guys on lines with teammates that can facilitate scoring, and they're just not doing that. They're playing him as if he's on the Rob Niedermeyer, Sammy Paulson, Travis Moan line from the 2007 Ducks team. I don't understand it personally, but it worked out tonight, so I don't know.
Well, I think that's the reason why they want him to be, like, defensively sound like Kopitar, so they're like, here, learn. Like, that's how they kind of taught QB so far, is like, here, learn this position.
But he's already learned it. Like, that's the part I don't get, is like, okay, he's already, I don't know how old he is now, but 23, 24. Like, you can't,
like, that's.
And also and this is, sorry, I realize you're playing the messenger and I'm arguing with you for no reason, but, like, the reason the Kings haven't been winning this year, or the reason that they're disappointing, is because they're not scoring. Like, that's it, full stop. So this attitude of, like, well, let's shore up our strengths while ignoring our weaknesses is insane to me. Like, you need more goals, not more defense. So sacrifice a little bit of one for more of the other. And what they seem to be totally comfortable doing is sacrificing all of one to be excellent at the other. But then there'll be random nights where they're not that good at the defense. Like tonight, they let up 3 goals. It's not terrible. They won the game, but yeah, you allow 3 goals on an average game. That's why you go to overtime 20 games out of 40, whatever. Like, anyway, whatever. It's not your fault. I'm not. I know you're not. I'm shooting the message.
That's what I agree with you. Like, that's why we're having such issues. Like, yeah, if you like at this point, we should know that whether QB could be a first line center. Yeah. Like, I understand that Kopitar is amazing. Like, I love Kopitar. Everyone loves Kopitar. He's retiring this at the end of this year, and it's crazy to think that management's like, he's going to retire as our number 1C. Like, yeah, no, if you look at every playoff team, like, would you have Kopitar as your 1C on a lot of the playoff teams? Like, no. He would be a great, like, 2 or 3C, like an amazing 3C. Like if he was just face-offs, defense, that kind of player, and put Fogel and Armia with him, great. Like that's a great third line, I think. But we're not going to give QB the chance to be with Kempe, which is the most baffling thing.
Even on a night with no Drew Doughty, they're not going to give Brant Clark the most minutes. They have been giving Byfield the most minutes at center, but obviously not. He's not in between Kempe and Laferriere or Kempe and Fiala or Fiala and Kuzmenko. I mean, they are what they are. We all know it. I don't know.
I just want to say for next season, I swear they're gonna play Kopitar or Kempe with QB. Start of the season, they're gonna struggle because once again the QB has to play kind of a new role, and then we're gonna be back here talking about why is QB not performing? Why is
depends on who's the coach, who's the general manager, who's the president of hockey ops, who's on the team. Like a lot could change between now and next year. We'll see. Anyway, Kent, I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, no, it's we all know what the problems are, but anyway, sorry, just gonna burn through some comments and then Ethan, I saw you tried to call in if you want to try, and I know there's been some problems with the software where more than one person on hold, it seems to shut down. Anyway, Caius wants to know how was my dad's birthday party. It was good, thank you. He says enjoyed listening to us in the garage. For those who don't know, I had my dad on All the King's Men this week. We did the King of the Week thing. Does anybody know, or do I know if Holland is looking to make any trades after the Olympic break? I don't know. I haven't spoken to Ken Holland about it. I have heard tons of rumors. I don't believe them. But whatever. Only check the wheels, put your sunglasses on. We're about to go on a road. Yeah. On the road for the next 6, spanning about 2 weeks, leaving home after a win. Here we go. Boys are about to save Hiller. Yeah, well, we'll see. Wanted to mention to Jesse that I totally agree with your dad on the consistency of how the Kings are losing an OT giveaway in the ozone, leading to a 2-on-1 every time. It's infuriating. Yeah. There was an e-bug dressed when Darcy Kemper went out. There's an e-bug dressed for every game. Somebody showed me his name tonight. I don't remember what it was. I'd never heard of it before, but he didn't need to come in because Anton Forsberg played a heck of a game. He came in and was great. Crystal says, I actually love seeing the team play without Kopi and Drew. Kind of a preview of the future. Looks great to me. Yeah, like I said, if you wanted to put a negative spin on this game, the one negative spin would be, yet again, when forced into a corner, the team winds up performing in a more entertaining fashion than it does when the team gets to have its way, right? And this is true 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was, when Dursey and Spence got called up to replace Drew Doughty. It's true last year when they played a fourth line more than they would have necessarily wanted after 11-7 all year long. Suddenly they had to play, a full lineup. So I mean, yeah, it's mind-boggling. The defense moved better with Doughty out. I think it's safe to say the future on defense is in safe hands with Brant Clark 92. Yeah, if he plays more than the top 3 guys in front of him, but whatever. Byfield's playing in a slow, predictable, defensive-minded system. He is. Byfield is there's a lot of Byfield comments in here. I'm getting caught up. Sorry, everybody. Byfield is the kind of player that if the Kings were to trade him and his next team placed him in a scoring role, the fans that wanted him traded would be pissed that he was traded. That's entirely possible. I think Quentin Byfield is still a moldable guy that could become multiple types of different players. They're choosing to use him as a defensive forward, and I think he's doing a really good job at it, which is why I'm not quote-unquote disappointed. I'm just confused because I just think you have that guy. You thought highly enough of him to take him second overall, and loads of other teams thought highly of him as well. It's not like the Kings went out on a limb to get him. He was going to be a top 3 pick no matter what order the picks went. So I mean, obviously he's got talent, and they have clearly prioritized his skill set on the defensive side of the ice. Personally, I see Turk more naturally slotting into Kopitar's play, but instead they stifle Byfield's ability. Yes, I agree. Totally agree. More of the same. I think QB is a good player and doing what he's being asked to do, but he's not doing what yes, right? This is the same issue most fans have. My issues with the organization, not the player. Agreed. Any news on when Moore will be back? No, and I did not see him. I know he was skating a little bit before he was put on IR. I haven't seen him since then or heard about him skating since then, but I don't know. Maybe he is. Sorry, going through comments. Hiller's main weakness is distribution of minutes. Kuzi has scored a goal in every game the Harmonicas have opened. That's an interesting stat. I didn't know that. Would you consider winning faceoffs to be part of being an effective defensive forward? I don't know. I'm this is a good question. Whenever stuff like this gets brought up, I get torn because there is the analytic community who every serious member of the analytic community that I have talked to about this. And when I say serious, I mean people who have jobs within an analytics department of an NHL team or people who cover analytics for a professional publication, not Jay Fresh, no disrespect to Jay Fresh, but like people with jobs who were hired specifically because of an expertise in analytics. Every one of those people that I talk to say faceoffs do not matter. It's a puck battle. It's one of 100 puck battles that happen in a game, not 100, hundreds of puck battles. You can't overfocus on it just because it happens, at a stoppage of play and all eyes are on it. However, having said that, when a moment happens where a team scores immediately off of a faceoff, it's really hard not to say, see, faceoffs matter. Or like tonight, when the Kings had that faceoff deep in their zone with 4 seconds left, Kings win the faceoff, game over. They win 4-3 instead of giving New York a chance to score again. It's really hard to say, oh, that faceoff doesn't matter. So faceoffs matter when they do matter. But on the flip side, Fiala scores on a faceoff that the Kings lost. Gavrikov turned the puck over immediately after the Rangers won the faceoff. Now, maybe we have to tweak the definition of what a one faceoff is, because if you win the faceoff and then turn the puck over immediately in front of your own goalie less than 2 seconds after the faceoff win, did you really win the faceoff? I mean, you did, but like it didn't help you any. So I don't know. I don't know. More importantly, whether or not I consider winning faceoffs to be part of being an effective defensive forward, I think the Kings think it's a part of being an effective defensive forward. In fact, I know they think it is because they said it a number of times. So, Living Thing 280 says, I'm sure we've talked about this, but that 5-3 kill was unbelievable. It was, and the crowd was roaring. I mean, Hovind said it to me. I was about to say it on Twitter. That might have been the loudest this crowd was this season. I mean, it was great. Really, really good job by the fans. Hiller got a haircut. Maybe that's what we needed. Maybe. I don't know. Neil says, I'm not disappointed by Byfield. I just want him to be used in a way that brings out the best in him. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not disappointed. I'm just confused. And listen, maybe I'm wrong. I don't get it. Turk Q Helenius Laffy Juice has played center in the past, and money is going to free up with Kopitar retiring. Could bring in someone via free agency or a trade to play center. Yes, could, but will? That's we got to wait and find out. The Kings do not have the right players on the team to exploit Byfield's talent. Probably not, but listen, his talent is size, speed, and the ability to slice through the neutral zone and the offensive zone in control. And you don't think the Kings have played like I feel like Adrian Kempe is a pretty obvious. Adrian Kempe and Alex Laferriere seem like fairly obvious line mates to me. They're both fast. They both can move the puck. Kempe is certainly dangerous when he gets open. We saw that 2-on-1, that give and go with Clark in the first period, 18 seconds into the game. And Laferriere certainly doesn't need the puck on his stick all game long. And Kempe has proven that he can play with guys who have the puck on their stick. So I mean, I don't know. They don't have like superstar players to play with him, but I think they have enough guys. Anyway, last 1/3 of the season, first 20 games this season, QB was flirting with a point per game. Yeah, when Byfield looks good, he looks really good. I just think sometimes they use him in a way that's confusing to me. Did CC have the best game of his Kings career tonight? I maybe, sure, why not? I don't have this animosity towards Cody CC that a lot of people seem to. I just like Jordan Spence better, but that's not CC's fault. Random question: what's up with Clark's butt out skating posture? I can always tell it's him by it. I mean, well, listen, when he was drafted, people talked about the fact that he has a funny skating stride. I don't know, but that's what people say. Trocheck seems like a prototype King center. He does. Byfield is a player maker. I think I understand what that means, but yes, I agree. Not many quality scoring unrestricted free agents this offseason. Yeah, not many. I actually felt bad for Gavrikov after he made that pass. Yeah, I would love to know what he was thinking, because like he put it right on Fiala's stick, right in front of the goalie. What do you think of the possibility of Pettersson? I don't know if it's possible or not. I will say this. I would have to know what was being traded to get him before I even began to think about evaluating whether or not it's a good idea. If the trade is Green Tree Brustevich, a first this year and a first next year, or a first next year and a first the year after that, conditional, whatever, I'm more okay with it than if it was Byfield and Clark for Pettersson, right? Like if it's roster pieces for him, then it's a lateral move and I don't get it. If it's futures, I'd need to know which futures. I don't know. I'd need to know more. As far as the possibility of it happening, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't have thought that Rasmus Anderson was going to get traded to Vegas, or that what's his name was going to get traded to Kiefer Sherwood was going to get traded to San Jose, but stuff happens. All right, notes from section 103 tonight. It was good to see them jump out to an early lead and not let it slip away. The fourth line looked great. Clark. And I can't stress this enough. It was fun. Signed DTLA Kings fan. Yeah, and I'll just try and tie that all together. Fourth line looked great. Clark, and it looked fun. What a coincidence. The two things that the organization has been reluctant to do, which is play a fourth line, a full fourth line, consistent minutes, and let Brant Clark cook, as the kids would say. And they do both of those things, and it was fun, and they did win. And as soon as they started going away from it, that's when the game got close and tightened up. So go figure. But whatever. I think CC's playing pretty well. He can't shoot it, but he's decent enough. Yeah, he's fine. I think people, he's not a Norris Trophy winning defenseman, and he's not necessarily compatible with the offensive talent they have up front. Like, he's not great at moving the puck up the ice, and he's definitely not going to jump into any plays. He's not going to do that give and go with Kempe to create that first goal, that's for sure. But he's fine. All right, it's a bunch of comments, and I don't know what they're saying, but I think I'm going to wrap this one up because I just don't think there's a whole lot to say. And I got back very late last night, and I'm kind of tired, and I have an MRI tomorrow. So I think I'm going to wrap this one. But thanks, everybody, for joining and for calling in. And you can listen. If you haven't listened to the interview with Alec Martinez, I would highly recommend it. It's on the LA Kings YouTube page or on all the Kings Men audio feed. It's about 20-25 minutes of me talking to Alec Martinez. It was pretty interesting stuff. He was great. He was a really good guest. He answered the questions thoughtfully. He let me roll with some weirder questions. There's some good stuff about the 14 Cup run, some good stuff about playing against younger players. It was good. But before I go, because I saw this on the Jumbotron, the last home game I came to, and I asked Patrick, who you saw come say goodbye to me, he works for the Game Ops team. I asked him to pull this for me. So here is, I got this. I'm going to skip ahead. This is the guys coming out before the game. We're going to skip ahead, and you'll see there, oh, hold on. There's Corey Perry coming out of the locker room, and I noticed he did it that game, and then he did it again tonight. And I'm planning on asking him why he does this. What is that? Where does that? I'm going to play that again in case you didn't see it.
Los Angeles Kings!
And this is from the Jumbotron footage. I had them pull it for me. Here's Corey Perry coming out of the locker room. He taps the doorposts and the top of the doorway. And again, this was, I think, the Dallas game. Or no, yeah, I think it was the Dallas game I caught this. Or maybe one of the games before that. But then I saw him doing it again tonight. So I'm going to ask about that because I love that sort of thing. I think that sort of thing is fascinating. Brendan Lemieux used to have a thing where he'd be like the last guy off the ice and he had to shoot a puck into the empty net before he got off the ice. Corey Perry has this thing with the doorposts. I'm going to ask him about that because I don't know. I think it's funny. And I think you're right, Tim Coffey. It is more fun when the Kings lose like Steve Dangle's broadcast. So I'm sorry they won. This one hasn't been that much fun. But I appreciate everybody joining. And I'm going to hit the road. And they're not superstitious, but they are a little stitious. But I don't know. I'm just going to ask Corey Perry. So if anybody ever sees anything like that, feel free to point it out, and I will ask about that. And I also promised somebody on Twitter that I would ask the guys if any of them had watched Heated Rivalry, because I really liked the second half of Heated Rivalry and would be curious to see if any of the guys watched it. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you sometime.
I've never seen anything like this before. I don't know.
I'm not interested in your opinion. Just shut it off. My friend, don't be a jerk.
Shut it off!